Okay, what I have here is a 49cc quad bike, and I have a problem with gas leakage. Now, what's going on is gas seems to be leaking out of this little tube right here on the carburetor, and I just figured out why. First I plugged up that tube, I took it off and put a little cap on, and what it did was I started leaking out the back here where the choke is. So basically there's no way to plug it up. You're gonna have to fix it, and how you do that is you basically pull the bowl off, and this right here is your little forks, and there's a little device in there that plugs up the gas. When the float basically starts to rise as the bowl fills up, your float will rise and it'll push these forks up and close it. If that doesn't close all the way, then gas will still pour in the bowl, and then it has to go somewhere, and which is an overflow right here. I have the bowl right here, and there's my float right there. And sometimes these things, they get stuck in there. I had an old carburetor, and basically which is this one here, old carburetor, and the float wouldn't basically float up to push the forks and close off the fuel line. So I had to I just got another carburetor. But basically that's the issue right here. That's how you fix it. You take these little forks and you bend them down. You bend them down a little bit more, because when the float pushes up on the forks, as you can see, it takes a lot to close that. And the factory, even I got this from the factory today, and it still leaked, brand new. So I had to adjust these forks. Basically had to pull them down a little more like this, so the float can make contact. And it's really gotta, I mean, you can see how high up the float has to go to actually close it. It's just not making contact right there, and that's, you know, I probably need to bend them down even more. So that's how you basically fix that problem. Okay, I'm going to do an experiment here to show you. I'm going to put some gas in my tank. Just a little bit of gas. Okay, I got my carburetor basically hooked up to my fuel line, and I have basically the little valve that you turn to allow fuel to run into the carburetor. So I'm going to turn that. Okay, now you see fuel's leaking out, but when I push up on these forks, it stops. Now if the float doesn't float up all the way, it allows this to happen. It just keeps running, and so that bowl fills up, and then the carburetor just basically gets full of gas because it's not shutting off, and then it just runs out the tube. So if you can just bend the forks enough to where the float will shut it off, then your problem will be solved.